Hello and what is going on today, guys? Tomcat here, and today we're back in OffRoad Outlaws for a bit of a request. Now, in one of my previous videos in OffRoad Outlaws, one of you guys suggested that I do more of a realistic build, because a lot of my builds lately in OffRoad Outlaws have been the biggest this and the biggest that and monster this and monster that. And he kind of suggested, why don't you go back to a more realistic approach? And honestly, I feel like that's a really good idea because I haven't done a realism-focused build in a while, and I've sort of missed doing them. So what I've decided to do is to do a realistically styled Wagoneer Crawler, and do obviously fully upgraded powertrain, full power, everything like that, but visually and functionally in terms of axles and tire size, it would be a little bit more on the realistic side. So without any further ado, let's jump into the build and see what we can make happen. So I'm going to go straight to upgrades first because I want to go ahead and get that completely handled right off the bat. Just power-wise, grip-wise, get that all wrapped up and out of the way if it actually wants to, like, do it in proper time. We'll get the durability maxed out, and then we'll get a blower on it, a supercharger. Because normally I would do turbos, but on something like this, I'm willing to go more of the supercharger route because I'm not worried about, like, it being a huge monster truck and making as much power as humanly possible. So now I'm going to go ahead and see what we want to do with the axles. So I think we're going to do, not monster, but we're going to do solid axle pro heavy duty. So a heavy duty solid axle pro is most likely going to be the best setup to go with for this application, I think. So I'm going to say solid axle pro heavy duty. And this, I think, is the first time I've done a realistic crawler style build where I've used a heavy duty solid axle pro. So excited to see how those do. Now, in terms of suspension, sort of suspension geometry and stuff like that, we're going to make sure everything is fully maxed out, of course. But the axis width, well, the axis width, let's handle the travel before we handle the axis width. So, obviously, all the way up would be a little crazy. Maybe not too crazy, but a little crazy. I'm going to say 0.6, front and rear. So, I'm going to say travel at 0.6 right there. 0.6 front and rear. As a matter of fact, I'm going to bring it up a little bit more in the front because for some reason the rear is jacked up a good bit. So let's say front travel is going to be 0.65. That should be a little bit more leveled out. Now, axis width is going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of, I want to say 0.4. We'll start at 0.4 and then we'll go from there. Now, obviously, this thing has to get bigger tires. Bigger tires are going to be another step for this thing down the road. And so I'm going to do actually 0.5. And I think I'm going to do 0.5 front and rear just to kind of give me a good starting point from which I can build on for bigger tires. Now, damping and shock size and all that stuff, I'll handle. Well, shock size I can handle now. I'm going to do 1.5. Doesn't look too crazy. Doesn't look too overdone. But we'll do 1.5, and I think we'll go from there. We'll start there, and we'll see how it goes. We can do a axle brake setup if we really wanted to, but it kind of looks really awkward just floating there. So I'm not going to do it. I feel like this thing would probably have normal brakes anyway on a setup like this. So I'm actually currently really liking how it's turning out. Now, let's go to wheels and tires, because wheels and tires are a very important part of building really any vehicle. So, wheel size, I'm probably going to leave that alone, although we'll do the front first. Wheel radius, I'm going to bump up to, I think, a 1.2. 1.2. Not too crazy, but also not small. So, radius, oh wait, rear. Rear radius also 1.2. Now, that's actually looks really good in terms of height, but we need to handle the width now. So I'm going to go ahead and put the front width at probably 1.3. 1.3 looks good to me. It looks pretty, like, proportionally balanced. Doesn't look overdone. Doesn't look like it's going to collide with the springs or anything like that. Looks like about where I would want to have it, to be honest. So now that I've got that dialed in, I'm going to go ahead and actually run it on the dyno, and we'll see what this thing is going to be. Buy 100 bucks. And run the dyno. 705 horsepower and 529 foot-pounds of torque max. So that's not bad, actually. I'm really happy with that. I'm really happy with that. So let's go ahead and head back out, and we'll handle the visual customization, and then we'll take this thing out and see what it can do. I mean, oh god, it switched vehicles on me. Switched crawlers on me as well. I think it's going to be a really fun vehicle. I think it's going to be well balanced, and I think it's going to be enjoyable to drive, actually. So as far as the bodywork goes, I kind of like the idea of a fairly standard look on this thing. However, I do want to look through some of the bumper options. I don't really like that. I don't really like that, and I don't really like that. I kind of like the old school bumper. I mean, it's really the only one that sort of fits. Now, the rear bumper, we could do that, but I kind of want to keep it stock so I can match the front bumper. Cage-wise, I'm probably not going to go for that. Fender-wise, I kind of like that. Oh, wow, that actually, like, fully covers the tires. That's really cool. I like the idea of a small flare. I think the small flare is actually really cool. Running board wise, I think I'll do these because it's definitely a little bit more of like it would double as a rock slider. And then roof lights, not going to worry about it. Snorkel, not going to worry about it. Exhaust pipe, well, hood stack or hood stacks, I'm not going to worry about those either. I'm really keen on keeping a basic look, but I'll definitely throw a winch on it. And then front lights, I'm going to leave that alone. Headlights are going to be white. And repair pack, nah, I'm not really going to do too much in that respect. So, let's see. Buy gloss paint just so we can have the option. Oh, God, that's not exactly, like, perfectly, like, it's not exactly, like, completely pink, but it's, like, it's close. I do kind of like, I kind of like the red. I do kind of like the red. Let's see how the matte red looks. Nah, the gloss red. If we're going to go red, the gloss red looks a lot better. The gloss red definitely looks a lot better. Ooh, the gray is nice. So is the green is really cool. And I think it fits it, actually. I think it fits it pretty well. I'd be down to do that. Now, tire-wise, obviously the tires are going to have a little bit of a performance advantage depending on which ones we go with. So I'm going to go with, let's see, these are the best on rocks, but are kind of mediocre everywhere else. These are a little bit of a better all-rounder, so I'm going to go with these. And we're going to go ahead and run these in the rear as well. I really like the shape of these tires. I really like the look of them. And I really like the performance they give you. They're a really good all-around tire, I think, for a setup like this. And then wheels-wise, I think we're gonna have to be pretty careful with what wheels we choose, although I feel like those would be very, very nice and very realistic. Also, these would be nice with a bead lock, I think, because it's kind of that old school, almost military style going on. I mean, it's basically just a steel wheel, and it's a steel wheel with a bead lock. I mean, who doesn't like a steel wheel with a bead lock? Now, let's see if we can mess with the spoke color just a little bit, because I don't want it to be too over the top. I'm thinking about just making the spokes black, but then again, I feel like they disappear a little too much. I mean, if I make the spokes red, that's just weird. And you could do like a gray, and then the bead color we could make we could sort of make it a follow-up to the color we have actually on the Jeep right now, which would be sort of about that. Close enough? Close enough. Now, on the front, the bead color, I'm going to have to actually find that, well, something close to that bead color again. That's close enough. That's there. That's close enough. And then it's pretty close with that gray. I'm just going to make it a little bit closer because it was a little bit darker gray than the default gray. But I like what we're working with right now. I think it actually works for it really, really well. And I'm going to go ahead and apply everything, and then we're going to take this thing out for a drive, see what it's like, and give it a proper test run. I really think this is going to be a good one, actually. I think it's going to be a good one. I think it's going to be a fun one. And we're going to take it to Woodlands first, and then we might take it to a custom map afterwards. Loading trailer. Why are we loading a trailer? Oh, I was going to say, there's no trailer to load. Yeah, there's no trailer to load. But at the end of the day, I think it's a really good-looking rig. I think it's got a lot of potential to it. I think there's definitely a lot of potential to be had with it. And I also think that, honestly, it makes me miss doing realistic builds. It makes me miss, like, the realistic builds that I used to do all the time. It's not slow either. When you get into it, it takes off. Oh, God. Okay, let's actually be semi-serious for a second and give it a proper test. Where does this trail go? Oh, God. Stat. Oh, I forgot to put a handbrake on it. Dang it. That was a big oof. Start trail. Let's see if we can... Oh, God! Great start. Oh, boy. Wow. Great start. Thanks, game. Thanks, Off-Road Outlaws. Wonderful job there. Okay. Now let's just follow the rest of the course. Really, like, mainly focusing on driving dynamics at this point and not time. Yeah, that was kind of meh. That was actually really meh. Really, really, really meh. I want to go to a custom map. I feel like this thing would do really well on a custom map. And I think that, I really hope that it has my favorites saved, because if not, I'll have to look up the map that I'm thinking about again. But let's see. Custom maps and favorites, and yes. All right, we'll do Park for All, because if you guys remember from my other Off-Road Outlaws video recently where I did a little bit of a tour of Park for All, it's a really good map, and it's a really varied map. There's a lot going on. I think as far as I know, the last update to this map, like, added a freaking... like Hoonigan Park, like a sort of miniature version of the Hoonigan Burnyard. Like, little features like that are just what makes this map really, really cool. And the fact that the creator keeps adding new things and new things and new things and new things over and over and over and over to it, and really just keeps, like, just bolstering this map into something even bigger than it was before. So it does take a second to load, just because of the fact that there's so many items on the map itself. I mean, it's got 285 paths to load, so it does take a minute. I mean, obviously it could take a little bit more or a little bit less time depending on your device specifically, but I can't really predict actual load times for your device, but mine loads it fairly quickly, and it's kind of one of those things where it's like, you know, it takes a minute to load, but it's not too bad. So once we go ahead and load in, it's adding the mud right now, and we are ready to go. All right, I'm going to go ahead and just lock everything down so I don't have to really think about it. And, well, actually, no, you know what? We'll put it in rear drive for now, because I know exactly where I want to go with it. Oh, he definitely added something over here. I don't even know what the heck this is. That's like a monster park. Like a, what, like a miniature monster park? What the heck? That's really cool. That's really... Whoa! He added a lot. Oh, God, there's a lot more trees here. Now, what's over there? If y'all were with me the last time we were here, this did not look like this at all. This didn't even remotely look like this. Holy smokes. Okay, I'm locking this thing down because it appears that we've got some, obstacles to tackle, and I am more than willing to tackle them. Oh, boy. Eee! I don't even know what's up here, but I'm totally down to find out. And my God, does this thing look good while doing it. It's just such a cool rig. I mean, you really, like, it's kind of impossible to not love one of these things if you're even remotely into off-roading, and I think this one in particular, I mean, I'm sure that there are going to be people that disagree with me, and there are going to be people that are going to be like, well, I would have done this better, or I would have done that, or this, or that. I still love this thing. Whoa, okay. Whoa, easy. The setup is sticky for sure. I just have to make sure I'm looking at this from the correct angle. Oh, something also tells me that he's not done with this section yet. Oh, easy. Oh my God, we're in low and we can't back up. Oh God, stop, 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 stop. No, I'm too late. Oof. Well, that was a big oof. Thankfully, we didn't really get much damage out of that. Let me go over to the hill climbs, because the hill climbs I'm at least a little bit more familiar with. Let's see how we do here. We've done this in another vehicle before. Go! Yikes. Turned us around big time. I'm gonna go try that again. Yeah, we got big time turned around. Rip us on that one. Let's zoom in just, well, let's rework the camera angle. Go! There we go. Not bad. Not bad. World record freaking 6.7 seconds. Jesus, that's insane. That is absolutely freaking insane, dude. But I really enjoyed building this thing, and if you guys enjoyed watching me build it, then make sure to let me know what you thought of it in the comments down below. Hit that like button if you enjoyed, and if you'd like to see more videos like this one, hit the subscribe button, click the notification bell, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Talk to you all later.